Hi, I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Julie.
We're moms and we're super basic. We've got our drinks and we're ready to chat. Cheers.
Cheers.
It is Friday, December 18th, and we are almost at the finish line for 2020. We've got lots of celeb news and just current events, I guess you could say, this week. So let's get to it.
Okay. So I have a confession to make.
Yes.
When I put my stuff in the slides, I had every intention of drinking Moscato. I even sent Mike out for a bottle today in the snow. But I've had just like this awful headache all day, so I actually just have herbal tea.
Last minute switch. I
It's
was
sleepy
actually
time. I'm going to get wild.
I was actually curious because I knew you had said last week that you were like out of Moscato, like you were down to your last bit. So I was like, maybe Julie will try something different this week.
No,
And
I thought about it and I had a headache and I was like, oh, Mike, I don't feel like trying to find a recipe for a drink and making it tonight. Can you just go get me wine? We also needed milk. I wasn't like that whiny. And he went out and got it. And then I was just like sitting on the couch like 20 minutes ago and I'm like, I can't. My head hurts so bad. Tea.
well, you'll have it for next week.
Yeah. Oh, well, no, right? Next week will be Christmas
Oh,
Eve.
yeah, no.
But yes, I will drink it on Christmas Eve probably.
Yeah. You'll have it for a future time when
Yeah.
you're able to drink. I'm doing the same things last week, the White Russian, but I added something a little different because I did see, I don't know if I told you this last week, I did see a recipe for like a one with peppermint schnapps.
Oh, make it like festive.
Yeah, so I was like, huh. And then I didn't have peppermint schnapps, and I was like, ugh. But I do have peppermint mocha coffee creamer. So I just added a dash of that into it. So now I have like a peppermint
Do you like it?
White Russian. Yeah.
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 Nice.
It's definitely, it like makes it, a little fresher. I don't know.
So it tastes like an air freshener?
No, not in a bad way.
Not in a bad way. All right. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. So check-in time.
All right. So I didn't get to go into detail about this last week, but we are wrapping up week 2 of quarantining with both boys home while we're both working from home. And someone at the daycare had like a positive case and they had an exposure. So that's why we were quarantining. We got tested, we were good. So no scares there. But I am very happy that the second week is coming to an end because it's like really tested my patience. But I feel like the first week was worse than the second week.
Yeah, you probably got into a bit of a routine. And like
Yeah.
even for the kids, like it was probably so off,
Mhm.
the first week.
Yeah. Plus last week I had like a lot of like I was working on a deadline last week for college applications. So I was like just stressing to the max and then just learning that information Sunday night. I was like, oh, seriously. So they'll be going back to Kira next week. Thank goodness. But for short weeks with the holiday and everything. And we had a snow day here today. And so Thursday is when we're filming this. So we had a snow day here in New Jersey, and I'm in the part of New Jersey that actually got snow. And you, however, take the cake with snow.
Yeah. Well, before that, I'm curious. When you get a snow day though, now that people like remote learn, did the kids get off school?
So this was a big debate
Okay.
this past week because when we first started remote learning, they were like, oh, well, now we don't have to use snow days because we can just work from home. And with like this year and kids being like thrown into remote learning again and sitting in front of the computer on Zoom basically all day long, my district that I'm in. Now, the one that I live in did not do this, but the one that I work in decided to actually have a snow day today and not hold remote learning or remote
Okay.
instruction, because like just enjoy the traditional snow day and, don't worry about sitting inside on Zoom all day. Just enjoy it. So that was nice. Especially with the boys being home. So we were able to, and Kevin had planned to take off today anyway. So we were all off and just enjoyed the snow and stuff like that. So
That's really nice. So how much snow did you end up with?
I think we're probably around like 6 inches.
Okay.
Maybe.
So yesterday I saw everyone down in New Jersey posting like about all the snow coming. And up here they were predicting like, I think the prediction when I went to bed last night was 5 to 8 inches for where we live. Like, okay. And it said that like, I forget the word they use, but like, because we're in the mountains and their valleys, this happens a lot where they'll say like specific, like pockets could get more, 5 to 8. It was also supposed to stop snowing around 2. Didn't stop till about 5. When I woke up and went outside and Mike was shoveling, there was over a foot this morning.
Really? So when did it start for you yesterday, though?
I don't know. Through the night it started. So I don't know exactly what time. After we went to bed, it started. There was definitely a foot, maybe a little more, when Mike started shoveling this morning. And by tonight, the local reports for where we live is 27 inches.
That's insane.
5 to 8 they predicted. What? I mean, I don't mind.
Very wrong.
We work from home. The kids are home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the streets were clear. Mike went out to buy milk and wine.
Yeah.
Necessities. We just, up here in general, they're always way more prepared for snow. We got mail delivered today with
So that's what I was going to ask you, like, what's like the normal or the average snowfall like that you get like in a day?
Okay, so this was a pretty big dump. I think I can only remember one other time that we had like that amount in one storm, but it's not uncommon for it to snow, not melt and snow again, like, a week later, and it was, cold, so it never melted. So it stacks up, but I mean, typically from like November through March, most of the time there's at least a layer of snow on the ground.
Yeah. And like, so is this like the biggest one that you guys have gotten since you've been there in one storm?
No, I think there was one that was a little bit more than this. I can't remember the exact amount. I remember like exaggerating a little at Mike because Mike was in New Hampshire when we got it and I was home and I had to shovel and it came all from like, afternoon through the night, but it was done by like 4 a.m. So they treated the roads, they plowed, and they didn't cancel school. So I had to shovel out on my own and it was like 3 feet.
Oh my God.
And I had shoveled before I went to bed the night before, but it still snowed more. And then the plow had come by and like put it all in front of our driveway. So I was like outside, like crying, shoveling by myself because Mike was out of town. And I remember I got the kids to school like an hour late that day.
So, oh my God, I forgot my next question already. Oh, wait. So I was going to say that I know our family in the Boston area got like 18 inches as well, but 27, that's just insane.
Yeah, it's like the kind of amount that you can't even just, like, you'd have to see it to know.
Well, yeah, it's not like you can like play in that. Like you're like,
right, it's kind of hard. And even like sledding's hard until you pack it down, right? Because you put the sled down and like sink 2 feet.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So the snow we got was like really heavy snow. Like Kevin tried to do the snowblower through like our driveway and stuff, and it's just like that really heavy snow that doesn't like easily go through the snowblower. So is that like what you guys had too? Because 27 inches, I can't imagine like
it
heavy.
We've definitely had wetter, heavier snow. I
Mhm.
think that like you guys, it was going back and forth between like rain and stuff, right? Or no?
Not where we are,
Okay.
like
Yeah, no,
south
it
of
was
us.
pretty
Yeah.
fluffy. It was pretty good. Pretty good
Okay.
stuff. Now, like when Liam was walking in it, it was like waist deep.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
And then where it's slid, because we have one of those standing seam roofs, so it's like metal and
Mhm.
it slides down off of the roof. So where on our back deck where it slides down off of the roof, it's probably over my head.
Oh my
Like
gosh,
in the places
a
where it's
pile.
like piling. It's so crazy. And even like we're on a corner, so like the plow keeps like putting it like at our corner.
Oh yeah,
It's like
you just
so
have a mountain.
So, along
Mm.
with the snow comes a headache because temperature and pressure changes.
Yeah.
I should have known it was coming. Yesterday morning, I woke up with like a burst blood vessel in my eye, and that
Ugh,
happens from pressure. Yeah.
wow. Ugh.
And that's also like the eye that's killing me. There's just so much pressure in here right now.
Oh, that sucks.
Hurting so bad. But in other news, I went on this like sweater buying bender.
Yeah, I want to hear about this.
Okay, it's not that much. I got 3 new sweaters, but um
That's not a vendor.
it is for me. Back on Black Friday, I almost said Good Friday. Back on Black Friday, I ordered a sweater off the loft. I was just like waiting for something I wanted to buy, and I didn't love it. I was like, whatever. Like it's a sweater. It was like V-neck, tunic. They didn't have it in a color I loved. I went with like this yellow because the colors I liked were sold out in my size, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, it was missing for like weeks, right? I ordered it on Black Friday. It came yesterday, spoiler alert.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
but it was like the tracking, it disappeared for like 3 weeks. I think it was supposed to get delivered on like the first, so a little more than 2 weeks, right? The first to the 16th.
Okay.
Um, and so in the meantime, I went on Old Navy and bought 2 other sweaters because I was like, well, I really wanted that sweater to like lay around my house in. And then the Old Navy sweaters came today. So I got
Oh,
3
okay.
new sweaters in the past 2 days. But here's the thing with all 3 of them, I didn't love the color when I was ordering it. The loft one looked like it was like yellow. It came and it was like tan almost. You know what I
Huh.
mean? Really liked it. This one from Old Navy, which you can't really see, but it's like a cable knit,
Mm-hmm.
real soft. It feels like you're wearing a blanket.
Mm-hmm.
It looked almost white. It was like cream. And I feel like it's like tan.
Yeah, it looks more like it had like an oatmeal kind of color.
Yeah, and it even has like darker flecks in it. So when I
Yeah,
spill
yeah.
food on myself, it'll like blend in.
You're good.
And then I bought this other sweater from Old Navy because I liked the cut of it. It's like real soft, open in the front, tunic. Um, it just looks cute in the picture, the cut, but the only color they had was pink. And it looked like a pink. And I'm like, well, if I'm just wearing it around the house to be warm, like, because I
Yeah.
usually just walk around with like a blanket on me. Well, it came and that's like a really nice, like creamy pink, like almost like a dusty rose. I don't know. Like, no,
Okay.
that's gross, right? It's yeah, so all 3 of them did not come in like the color that the photo looked like. And I'm actually really happy with all 3 of the colors. I like what came better than the pictures.
Yeah, that worked out. I feel like that's I don't know if it's like our computers or our devices or just like the websites that alter the coloring sometimes, but I feel like that happens and but I feel like when I get it's never like better. It's like always
You're
worse.
like, that is not what I wanted.
Yeah, yeah.
No, yeah, I was happy with all 3. Really happy. So,
Nice.
all right.
Well, hopefully you don't go on any other benders.
I know. Well, and then the funny thing is that the Old Navy sweaters were, well, here's another thing. Let's forget that train of thought. I last year I finally started losing my baby weight. Like my kids were 6 and 7, and I was like, I should probably like this is no longer baby weight. Like, let's do something about this. And I lost, oh, I forget now, but I think 32 pounds. And now
Yeah.
over COVID, I've gained, what would it be? Do math in my head real quick. Like 16 pounds back, but that's still down like 16 pounds, right? From when I
Where you
lost weight.
started. Yeah.
But, I still cannot gauge my size because I wanted like big baggy comfy sweaters, right? So I ordered an extra large from the Loft because I feel like I used to wear the
Wouldn't that
Loft.
be way too big on you?
Well, it is, it's giant. That's what I'm
Okay.
getting at. But when I was thin before I ever had kids, I would wear a medium top there, right? So I was
No,
thinking,
no. Loft is always like, think of loft as like Mrs. sizes.
no, but I have big boobs. You're
Oh,
forgetting.
I always forget that. I
Yeah,
don't think
so
about
I would have done a medium before I
that.
ever
Okay.
even like had kids. And yeah, so I ordered the extra large and it's giant, but like I wanted giant and I'll also shrink it because I am bad at
Well, one
washing.
tip I will tell you, if you haven't ordered from Loft in a while, I actually stopped ordering from Loft because I was like ruining, and I don't know if it was me or just their quality has like really gone downhill in the past few years. But like if you wash your sweater from Loft, do not put it in the dryer.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think that's recent because when I was teaching, all of my clothes were from the Loft
Hmm.
or the Limited, which I don't even think exists
Aw.
anymore, right? But back when I was teaching, yeah, everything was the Loft or the Limited, yeah, and one time through the dryer, and it was like you might as well have just thrown it in the trash can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I've done.
So now Old Navy, I know always runs bigger. So I ordered both of those sweaters as larges and same thing. I definitely could have gone with a medium, but I feel like I just still have no idea how to like size my body
Yeah.
after like having kids and problems.
Yes. Well, and it doesn't help that every store is like different sizing too.
Right. Well, and I
Um,
feel like we talked about this before. I don't know if it was in our group chat or on one of these, but I ordered a shirt from what's it called? American Eagle within the past year. And again, went with extra large, thinking back to when I was in high school and wore it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in high school, I was wearing a large polo shirt from American Eagle because of my boobs and my shoulders. And so I was like, well, I'll get an extra large and it'll probably be too small enough to send it back. It's like a tablecloth, like it's so big.
I feel like a lot of those stores, and I think I've talked about this before, like how Abercrombie's more like gearing it their like they're marketing more towards like our generation now because we wore it when we were in high school. But I feel like the sizing is too. Because I had that issue
Someone
with
should like tell us that.
like we're supposed to just guess.
Especially since I have to order everything online. The closest clothing store that's not like an independent like boutique
Yeah.
is an hour and a half away. So I
Ugh,
have to order everything.
yeah. All righty.
All right, that's enough about clothes. All right, so just because we talked about this so excessively there for a while about Dancing with the Stars and Chriselle and Gleb, so Chriselle is dating Keo, who is one of the other contestants, and we talked about that last
No,
week,
he's a
right?
professional dancer. He's
Yes,
one
he
of the
not a
dancers.
contestant. You're right. You're right. He wasn't a contestant. He's one of the professionals. So Chriselle and Keo are on vacation with Gleb and Gleb's new girlfriend. What does this picture tell you about body language? What did you see in this?
That Keo and Chriselle really are into each other, and Gleb's new girlfriend, what's her name again?
Oh, we did look that up. What
Is
was
it
it?
something with an A? Anna?
I forget.
Well, whoever she, whatever her name is. I feel like she's like not
Not
into
into
it.
him, right?
Yeah.
That's what I read on it too. She does not seem into him. Something about this whole situation still feels a little fishy to me.
Okay, so if we're speaking specifically about body language too, it's almost like she's letting him put the arm around him and she's like got her shoulders like kind of towards him, but like it's almost like she doesn't want to commit to the fact that she's his new girlfriend just yet.
I'm wondering if they're actually dating.
Hmm. Also, I did read that this was work-related trip.
Yes, I read that too. But for Chriselle, it said
Yeah.
she's the one that posted, because when I first read it, I thought it was Gleb's girlfriend that posted that. And then I was like, oh, it's something for, the pros, because she's also a pro on Dancing with the Stars, right? Or no?
No, I don't think so.
Professional dancer. I guess
Yeah,
it's
but I don't think she's on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh no, okay. So I assumed
She's
it was
been
like
in a bunch of like minis, like in a bunch of. I think she was like Pretty Little Liars, wasn't she?
Oh really? I didn't know that. I assumed that it was like a work trip for the three of them and Chriselle came along, but it was a work trip for Chriselle and
Huh.
the other three came along, I guess.
Oh, see, I assumed based off of what I read that it was a work trip for Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, okay, that's a possibility. But just those three went? Where were the rest of the contestants and pros?
Not pictured.
I don't know. I feel like it's a little suspicious still. I don't, not that I think Michelle and Gleb were together, but maybe that they're just really hard trying to say that they weren't by him having this girlfriend all of a sudden who does not seem to be into him.
No, I don't think that they're trying to like prove everyone wrong. I think that they were like friends.
Yeah.
I think that they got close as friends and like she was dating Keo throughout that. And now it's like you get like you have to hang out with your friends and their significant others,
I guess I just don't see her as his significant other. It just looks so awkward to me.
Yeah, we'll have to keep a close eye on this one and see what happens, how long it lasts.
Very curious. Okay. That picture is wild. Okay, yes. So Kristen Cavallari.
It's how it started and how it ended.
Oh my God. So she's apparently friends with the guys from Southern Charm. Now, I did some digging on this because we were all like, well, why are they friends? Like, what? And even in the backstory about it, there's no explanation about how they're friends. The one guy, I don't even know who these guys are.
So the guy on the left is Justin Anderson, which is like one of her friends. I don't know what his claim to fame is. I think he's maybe like the hairstylist guy. I'm not sure.
Okay.
And then the two on the right are Southern Charm guys, Austin, and I think that's Shep. I can't remember. I haven't watched Southern Charm in a while.
Okay. So the one guy, Austin, I think is the one that's been in the articles about it a lot. He said that one time she came to South Carolina. That's where Charlotte, North Carolina? Where the hell does this?
No.
Charlotte? No, Charleston, South Carolina.
South Carolina.
So one time she came to South Carolina and they ended up all getting dinner together. And then they had this like active group chat afterwards where they had lots of funny inside jokes, but there was no explanation about why they got dinner together that first time. So why are they friends? Where did this come from?
Yeah,
I got no clue.
Yeah, that still wasn't clear even after like all of the interviews and everything like that. It's like, okay.
Right. And then they got toasted.
Oh, did they?
It got wild and they went live on Instagram and probably shouldn't have. That should have been private video footage, I feel like. Also, the whole time I'm watching the video, I'm like, how is she so toned? Like,
well, also, yeah, so she clearly, she's always like had that build. I mean, I guess even after kids, she's went right back to it, I guess. But what is she wearing? What's going on?
Jean skirt? And
no,
bandit. What is
this? I'm confused. And I said this in our group chat that we have, like, I feel like she's just like I just got divorced or getting divorced, and now I'm gonna wild out because I got married and I was young and I had babies, and now I'm just gonna like do me, which
Yeah.
go nuts, have fun. But I feel like she dresses like she's 20 something.
Yeah, now in this picture, it doesn't look like a jean skirt. In the video, it looked like a denim skirt.
Yeah, I think it's like a sparkly kind of like metallic-y kind. I don't know. This is like dinner at one of their houses, right? Like,
Well, dinner looks like they're out somewhere.
oh, I thought it was like dinner at one of their houses. Maybe it's out.
I guess it could be. I'm just looking in the reflection. The guy taking the picture looks like he's in like.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I can see like the multiple chandeliers and the decoration. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I think they might be at a restaurant for dinner.
Okay.
Maybe she was dressed up for that. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of people are saying that she's trying to make Jay jealous because is he dating someone from Southern Charm, or was there talk that he was?
I did see something about like him and one of the Southern Charm girls like hanging out. But they were like with another person too. It wasn't just like two people like out to dinner. It was like him with like two other girls. But I don't know. This is just so weird. And so Austin is like apparently breaking up with one of the Southern Charm girls, Madison. So now there's a lot of rumors that him and Kristen are dating, and they've both like come out and said that they're not. But
literally last week, Kristen was on vacation with her boyfriend. She's dating like a comedian. And then he apparently posted after all of these videos something that made people think that like nothing's wrong with them. This is just how she acts.
Yeah. All right. Another thing for us to keep our eye on.
Okay, so apparently Prince William and Harry's relationship is on the mend. Reports are saying that Harry and Meghan have sent Christmas gifts to William's kids and that they are video chatting regularly now. So, you know, we're almost at a year since they announced that they were like separating from the royal family. And while there was like initially anger, I guess, and resentment, they're like coming together.
So I didn't get to say this last week because I know we didn't really talk much about like our TV shows too much, but I did finish The Crown season 4.
Okay.
So, and as we'll get to later, I am reading a book about Diana. So having all that information and knowing about like the roles of the royal family, like, what do you think really separated them at first? Was it Meghan? Was it like that William is the heir and Harry is the spare? Like, what do you think kind of divided them?
I don't know. I think that by the time that they did it, Harry was so far from like the line of succession at that point, right? Like, you know, it's Charles, then William, and then William's now had 3 kids.
Yeah.
So he was out of like, you know, the top 5.
Yeah.
And the top 5 are like the ones who.
I thought it was 6. The top 6 have like the royal duties for like events and stuff.
I think it's the top 5 because I remember that when Margaret, one of the kids bumped one of Andrew's daughters out, then she got engaged because she was, you know, the person she wanted to marry was previously married, I think, or something like that. Okay. But I could have that all mixed up. But then from The Crown, what I realized, though, was that Margaret didn't really get bumped out until the Queen's children were over 18, right? Or was it even 21?
Yes, no, you're right. No, it was 8. I don't remember if it's 18 or 21, but it was, they did say like, oh, it was
wanted to get more involved.
Like he's taking on the roles now, so you can kind of step down. But they did say like, we have 6 now. in that episode with Margaret.
Oh, 6. Yeah. So I think like technically he was like out of it, but also the other 3 are so young that they're not really doing like press and events and things. I think it was probably more of like a shock, and they probably didn't talk about it. Maybe he was like upset, William, with the way it was handled, but ultimately could understand why he did it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like growing up the way that they did, they must know, like, if you get a chance to get out and have a somewhat normal life, like, why wouldn't you take that, you know?
Right. And I wonder, though, if there's some level of resentment, too, because some of the stuff they said at first, like, well, we're going to reside in Canada, which is still part of, like, the Commonwealth. And then within, like, 2 months, they uprooted and they're in, like, Palm Springs or something, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. They don't live in Canada anymore. They live outside of LA somewhere.
Oh, wow. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that.
And then even just, like, a couple weeks ago, there were reports that the Palace is upset because Harry and Meghan have a deal with Netflix, and the royal family wasn't happy with the portrayal in season 4.
Oh, yes, I did know that. I know that I read that, I was going to say, I read that they were also upset about Meghan sharing about her miscarriage.
That's ridiculous. That makes me angry.
Oh, agreed. It's ridiculous.
Upset about that. Like, that's
But
ridiculous.
but they didn't like that she like put that out there, basically.
She should.
Yeah, agreed. As we spoke about last week,
Yeah.
she definitely should. But like, I think reading the book I'm reading right now and watching The Crown, it like they try to kind of present this image with no flaws, right?
Well, I bet we're going to talk about this, but
Yeah.
all of the rumors as to people that think that Diana was, murdered, a lot of it has to do with the fact that some people think she was pregnant with Dodi Al-Fayed's, not Dodi, Dodi's the father, right? No, Muhammad is. So Dodi Al-Fayed's baby, and that they were getting engaged. And that was just like something the royal family could not deal with. Like the former princess and the mother of the future king could not be married to a Muslim. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. I know that their like more recent partnership is because of the interview that she did in the 90s. So I think there's like some kind of like they're coming together to work on that. So I'm curious to see what comes of it.
Yeah. All right. So this you brought up, and it was like,
it's so random, but it's so good.
Well, that's what then I was like, first of all, forgotten they were together. 100%.
Also, same. I mean, I remember when they started dating, but I didn't know that they kept dating.
If anyone's just listening and not watching, we're talking about Anna Kournikova and Enrique Iglesias. Yes. I remember when they started dating when we were in like...
She was in his music video, right?
Yeah, she was. That's what I had to look up, because I thought it was Hero that she was in the music video, but no, that was Jennifer Love Hewitt. She was in the music video for Escape, and that's how they met in 2001. So they've been together for almost 20 years now. That's so crazy. Like,
and they're not married. You know that, right?
They're not married, but they have 3 kids. But they also just started having kids 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be for any number of reasons.
Sure. But I also, when I was reading up on them, because like once I saw this and sent it to you, I was like, okay, like where are they now kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, and I found articles that even said that they only got together in 2011, but then they were saying that they've been together since the music video. So then I looked up when the music video was, and that was 2001.
But also, so he's, okay, I can't remember who's older. Someone's in their 40s and some, okay, so he's like 45
and she's 39.
What the heck? That's what I was like. How is Enrique Iglesias 45 years old?
Would you have thought younger or older?
Yeah, I didn't see. I always associate with people I know, right? So
Okay.
if they're a little bit older than me, I'm always like, oh, they're my sister's age. And she just turned 40. So I'm like, okay, so they're probably like just turning 40 or late 30s. I would have never thought he was mid 40s.
Okay, so I would have almost thought older. Here's my rationale.
Why?
Okay. Because I associate it with like a time. So I remember those songs on like TRL when we were in high school, and I thought he was a full-blown adult. So in my head, that's somewhere in your like 20s,
Okay.
and that's 20 years ago now. Well, so that would be like 45. But I
Can we talk
also,
about how can we talk about how you thought full blown adult was mid 20s?
well, like 20, yeah, well, like full-blown adult for like a pop star, right? Not like, because like in sync were pop stars, but they were teenagers. Like I didn't think of he was
Yeah.
a teenager when his songs were coming out.
Yeah.
I also associate him with like Ricky Martin because they were kind of like big around the same time.
But Ricky Martin's older, isn't he?
Well, that's what, yeah, I would have thought they were about the same age because I would
Okay.
have associated them together.
So I remember when he came out that like Ricky Martin was his like mentor.
Oh, so he was like younger.
Hmm.
Oh. Well, anyway, the whole story was that their twins turned 3.
And they have a 10-month-old too.
Yes, they have a 10-month-old, and those are some cute kids, but they've
Yeah,
got
they're
good genes.
adorable.
So,
Yeah.
okay. All right. So, we also wanted to talk about Dr. Jill Biden and the
Mhm.
horrific Wall Street Journal op-ed that came out, over the weekend, I think?
Yeah. And now another one through Yahoo.
That's what, yeah, I saw you put and now Yahoo, and I wasn't sure what that meant.
So there was another one on Yahoo from a writer from, I don't even know, some writer from the National Review, maybe. I might be
Okay.
quoting it wrong, but I don't even want to like link their articles in our show notes because I
That's
don't
it.
even want to like give them any attention.
Here's the thing. First of all, the article could have been written and left out the misogyny.
Hmm.
Like you could have said in general, like blanket statement, I think that people who use doctor that don't have an MD didn't, earn the same type of degree, and that it can be confusing and misleading.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. If someone
About
told
like
me
the
they were a
system.
doctor, yeah. Okay, that's an opinion.
Mhm.
But to, call her kiddo, to degrade where she got her degree from, to say all the things that this man said in this article was like, you took what could have been like a point that people maybe could have gotten on board with. Like,
Yeah.
okay, a doctoral degree and a medical degree are two different things, but can be confusing when both call themselves doctor. Okay.
Yeah.
But no, you took it and you made it something insane. And then, so I was so angry over the weekend, I was like Googling the author.
Same.
So did you decide also that he didn't finish college? Because it doesn't say where he has a degree from, it says where he attended.
I couldn't even get like that far in the Google searches. Like it was
Okay.
hard to find information
I
on
found
the
this, I
author.
went right to his Wikipedia page,
Okay.
which I know can be like altered and it's not perfect, but it did not say like a degree was earned. It said attended, and it was just a rando state college in like Indiana or Illinois. Like, go fuck yourself.
Don't hold back,
It's
Joel.
not like it was like Princeton, right? And then
Yeah.
wait, didn't he also compare doctoral degrees to honorary degrees? No. That's a completely different thing.
So that is what really pissed me off. And like my mom is, so I'm a little more personally invested in this because I'm still working on my dissertation for my doctorate in
From the
education.
same college for the same degree, right? Is it the same program?
Yes. So my mom's like, you know, like sending me all these links for these articles and just like the bogus, like how ridiculous it is. So I was like, do they understand what an honorary degree is? Like, those are things that they award people when they make a commencement speech that maybe
Right.
never even graduated from their bachelor's degree program,
Right.
or like they supported a cause. It's like, oh, we're going to give you an
Or
honorary
they
degree.
donated money, right? Can't you
Yeah,
get one for
yeah,
like
it could be
donating?
anything,
Yeah.
but it's not like that they graduated with a bachelor's. Then to have your doctorate in education or philosophy or what's the other one? I can't even think what the other one is. Philosophy or psychology.
Hmm.
You have to have a master's too.
Right.
So it's like you can't just go from bachelor's to doctorate. Like you have to go through those other years of schooling that an MD doesn't also.
Right.
So
It's just so crazy.
I'm infuriated by this.
And then the other thing that I was thinking about it, and then I saw a tweet, was that there's so many people that do this. Like, she's not the only one. Like, why are we going at her because she's a
Mhm.
woman? And then I saw a tweet from Dr. Martin Luther King's
Mhm.
daughter saying, like, basically, fuck this dude.
All right, so when you looked on his Wikipedia page, because you'll have to send that to me later,
Okay.
is he 89 years old?
Yeah, he was an old white dude.
Shocker.
Yeah. Shocking.
So the Yahoo article is a younger dude who went
Oh,
to Yale.
dude.
Yeah, again, white male, who went to Yale.
Does he call her
And
sweetie? Or
no, but he
anything?
like questions like her dissertation and like
Yeah, well, so
the
did the Wall Street Journal on what the topic was. It was on community colleges, right?
yeah.
Like, what do
And
they
he's
care
like,
what she did her research on if she did the research? And
and yeah, and that's what I don't think people get, like the amount of research that goes into the
yeah,
dissertation that you have to do to get your doctorate. And she works at a community college. Like that's like clearly her passion
yeah,
and what she's interested in. And when you do your dissertation, like that's what you're supposed to focus like your topic on, like something you feel strongly about,
right.
because
It's supposed to be like
it's hard to
practical.
keep going if you're not interested in it. So but this dude, this, yeah, I keep calling him dude, sorry. This Yahoo guy,
Not more offensive than
um,
kiddo.
so Twitter like tore him apart and was like,
I mean, at
you,
least he went to Yale, right?
but they're like, you're like an elitist and you went to Yale and you're like a New York Post movie critic and now you're a blogger. So like you used your degree at Yale for this. Ugh. And you know, like politics aside, even if it wasn't her, right?
Right.
Any female that's in the spotlight that they would have done this to, I would have been just as
Yes.
enraged.
Yes. Yes. Agree. Agree. Okay.
My heart rate needs to come back down so we can talk about plants.
Well, maybe that'll help your heart rate come down. I hear they're good for you. So on the blog this week, we had a post from Claire. It was about her journey from plant killer to plant lover. And first of all, I loved her pictures in it. They were so pretty. And then I also wanted to say that we posted this in our group and we got like a pretty good conversation going on over there about lots of people who can't keep plants going, but at least one person who has also gone in hard on the plant growing during COVID. And I don't think Claire and the other people talking about it are the first that I've heard. This is kind of like a trend, right?
Yeah. So are you a plant killer or a plant lover?
So can you see my plant back here? This is the
Yeah.
only plant we have in our whole house.
It looks like it's thriving though.
It is. It actually used to be in like one of our windows and it got too big. It was like hitting the sides. Um, but I mean, we don't do anything to it.
So it's like low maintenance.
Yeah, I hear I need more plants though because they help each other thrive, right?
I guess, unless you kill all of them, which is me. I cannot keep a plant alive. And we were tasked with keeping or taking care of plants for a family member. and I am trying my darndest to keep them alive, but like it will be like a week or 2 weeks, and I'm like, oh shit, I haven't watered that plant. And I look at it, I'm like, ugh, it's like dying. So I would love to go from a plant killer to a plant lover. I did do better this summer, I will say, at our backyard and like maintaining the plants that we have in our backyard. But it's the indoor plants that I can't really.
So would you rather take care of a plant or a kid?
A kid. Honestly. I mean, well, okay, so wait, correction. I feel like I'm probably better at taking care of a kid than a plant.
Me too, probably, yeah. All right. So tell me all the things.
Okay. So I watched a series on Netflix like in 4 days because there's a new category on Netflix called binge watch over the weekend or something.
Ooh.
I need to stay away from that category because I'm like, great. And then it turns into like my whole weekend. So I watched Spinning Out, which I did just hear that Netflix actually canceled it for a second season, which I was bummed about. But they're saying it might be picked up by another,
Okay.
like, streaming service. But it was an ice skating, like they're figure skaters. And I love anything to do with figure skaters. So this was quick, dramatic. It had some mental health and did have some self-harm in it. So if that's like a trigger for you, definitely don't watch. But it was about this figure skater and her mom, who is January Jones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the mom's bipolar. The figure skater that's pictured here is bipolar, and she has a younger sister. And it's like kind of like, I guess you could say like typical like athletes, sports family where it's like everything they do. And it just like takes over the whole family. So it kind of like goes through a journey of like her mental health and her relationships that she has, and the mom too. So I really liked it. So I would definitely recommend it, and hopefully it gets picked up by someone else so we can figure out what happens with the cliffhanger at the end of season 1. So that was what show I watched. And then I'm currently reading 2 books, physical books, not listening to them. They're on my nightstand. My stepmom had sent me Where the Forest Meets the Stars. And it's really good. I think I'm actually going to send it to you when I'm done because I think
Ooh.
you would like it.
What's it about?
So the first chapter kind of threw me. I was like, what the fuck did she send me? Like, what is this about? Not gonna lie. It's like about this, I don't even know how to say it the right way, ornithologist. It's like a, a scientist who studies birds, and she's at this like summer house, and she's doing like her field studies of these birds and their nests and everything. And then out of the woods randomly one night comes this little girl, and she's telling her that she's like there from a different planet, and she's has to witness 5 miracles before she can leave. And she thinks she's crazy, and she's like, you're running away from home. Like, she calls the sheriff. The sheriff is like, sometimes it's not always good to send them back home if they're in a bad situation. So it's kind of just like this girl, or the scientist's kind of journey with this little girl, and then like all the other people she kind of pulls in too. So I don't want to give away too much in case I do send it to you, but it is really good so far. So I was reading it this morning during nap time so that I could like try to get through it. So that's good so far. And the next book, since I finished The Crown, is Diana in Her Own Words.
But it's not written by her.
So it is,
Okay.
because they did interviews with her.
Okay. Who's Andrew Morton, though? I remember that name. I feel like I remember when this came out.
So it's the 25th anniversary of the book, I'm assuming. Yeah, the book. So the book came out, but the way they did the book, because she was still in the royal family when they did this. So she had to be really discreet about how she gave out the information. So she did, like, they recorded audio and did interviews basically with one of her friends who was friends with Andrew Morton.
Okay.
So they would do recordings of the conversation she had with this person, and then they would give the recordings to Andrew Morton, who then turned
Right.
it into
Gotcha.
a story. So the 25th anniversary edition is kind of broken down into two parts. So the first part is just like kind of like transcripts of the conversations.
Okay.
And then the second part is the story.
So I feel like, and I don't know if it was after she died, but then the recordings came out and
Mm-hmm.
this guy was interviewed on like 2020. Like I can picture, I think maybe
It would have
2020.
been mid 90s, I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
I can picture like the recordings being played and then stopped and then talked about, but I can't remember like why or where. Cause I mean, it would have been a long time ago, and I would
Yeah.
have been like half paying attention because my mom would have been really into it. And I would have been like, looking through
And
People magazine. Yeah.
so I just got through the transcripts of her conversations with
Okay.
the kind of like middleman. And now I'm about to start like the actual story part of like that he wrote from her. But the transcripts kind of like, it's really just like her rambling and going into like all the details of her growing up and their marriage and everything. And I'm sad to say that The Crown season 4, according to what I've read so far, is pretty accurate.
That's what I felt like because I know you were angry about it. And
I was angry.
I'm not like, yeah, I'm not surprised by any of this. This is what I feel like I knew.
Well, and I feel like I was totally tricked by the monarchy because they present this front of, like we said a few, 20 minutes ago, like perfection and no flaws. And the pictures that you see in the media aren't necessarily what's happening behind the scenes. So I was mainly pissed off about The Crown because like when they would show pictures of her like at all of his polo matches and like her going like her like talking to him, and you could just see like their like closeness and that. And I was like,
Yeah,
well,
I don't know what pictures you're talking about there.
I'll send them to you.
Okay,
But
because I feel like I've seen the same like 4 pictures that seem forced
maybe.
and staged, like to me.
But I was curious as to why they didn't like share any of that in The Crown. Like her
Yeah, I
being
think they had to fit. Like it seems like every season so far has been almost like 20 years. So they had
yeah,
to um
condense it down as much as
yeah,
possible.
yeah.
Yeah. So I get that. And I was like really pissed when I finished the season 4 because I was like, well, I don't know if that's like they could have like put like a little positive into like their marriage,
Well,
you
see,
know?
I don't really think there was. I think she had genuine feelings for him because she
Mhm.
was a naive, like 19-year-old, and
Yeah.
I don't think she knew until they were engaged, A, that he wasn't into her, and
Hmm.
B, that they weren't going to be like in it together, that
Yeah.
he was going to have his own life and she was going to be basically like a prisoner. I think she had no clue until she was engaged. So I think that early on, what you're seeing from her was real, but I don't
Hmm.
think he was ever into it.
Yeah. He's, according to what I've read so far, he has always like throughout the whole entire thing been all about Camilla.
Yeah.
And like I think she kind of assumed that they were friends initially and that there was nothing romantic going on. And then she started to figure it out and confronted Camilla about it, and like she thought that by confronting her that would like squash it, and it didn't.
He did like the opposite, like
Yeah.
gave them permission because it was out in
Hmm.
public.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do want to watch that interview actually that William and Harry like have come together on, the panorama interview that they're talking about, because she does mention that a few times in her interviews. So I want to see like what happened there, because apparently that was kind of like her first interview where she kind of like spoke up about what she was experiencing. But so far so good, and it's really like sad to hear about her struggle with bulimia and how that like really started with her relationship with Charles.
Yeah.
So, but it's also sad because you think of how young she was when they got married.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I can't imagine marrying anyone, let alone a prince at 19, 20 years old. And
And
then
not
being,
having his support, you know what I mean?
yeah, kind of, yeah, being like alone throughout that. Like they lived in separate houses
Yeah,
completely.
that's so
And
crazy.
going through that for 10 years. And I feel like if she kind of like had a later start, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because he's much older than her too, that it probably would have played out quite differently,
Yeah.
whether she was with him or not. You know what I mean? I feel like she just kind of got thrown into it at such a young age that she didn't even know how to handle it or overcome it.
Yeah. All right.
But what are you reading?
Okay, so I started The Year of Living Danishly. We have a member in our group who's been like suggesting it, I feel like every week on like everybody's thread. And so I ordered it and it came. It's good. I really do like it. It's light and funny, and the whole premise is that they're from London. It's a couple, young couple. I think they're like in their early 30s, and he gets like an opportunity to work for Lego at like the headquarters in
Hmm.
Denmark. So they uproot for a year to Denmark, and so each chapter is a different month. And she's a freelance writer. Before she left, she was like an editor at Marie Claire, but she gave that up to freelance while they were in Denmark. So she's writing, as everything's happening about what's happening. So she's really funny because she's British and funny. And what's been part of the most interesting part is what it's like to work at Lego. And I keep like telling my kids everything I'm learning about what it's like to work at Lego because they're obsessed with Lego.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good. I would absolutely recommend it. I think I'm only on like March or April right now.
So is the cover deceiving, or did they live in like a tiny house?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I actually didn't even like look too closely at it, but they do live by sea. But
Hmm.
no, it sounds like their house is decent.
Okay.
Look, I don't know what that is. I don't know what's happening there. The red car, she did just buy a red car.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I don't think their house is supposed to be that small. They've never mentioned it being small. She's
Just,
never
I'm
complained
just
about it being
curious.
small.
I was just curious because now some people like go on those little like
Yeah, like
um, adventures of we're gonna live in this tiny house and
no, it
minimize.
definitely isn't like that. In fact, when they moved there, they didn't have enough furniture to fill the house because they moved
Uh,
from a flat in London.
okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's bigger than their flat in London. So, all
Okay.
right. And then
And,
I've also been listening to Evermore, the new Taylor Swift album. I have to report, I do not like it as much as Folklore.
okay.
So far, I do really like No Body, No Crime, Champagne Problems. There's maybe like one or two others that I liked. There were two bonus tracks, and I actually liked both of the bonus tracks more than the regular tracks. And I tried listening to it like twice, and I'm just not into it as much as Folklore, but I found a Spotify playlist that plays Folklore and Evermore together, and I actually like that a lot better. I almost feel like, and this is kind of what I worried when she said she was coming out with the second, it feels like most of the songs on Evermore didn't make the cut for Folklore.
Okay. Gotcha.
There's maybe like a handful that are as good as what was on Folklore, but the majority feel like what didn't make that album.
Okay. I haven't listened because I'm in chaos right now, but how are you listening? Because I was like, I don't even know where I'd go to listen because I thought her stuff wasn't on Spotify.
No, I think that was for a while, and I think she like lifted that. But you can listen to the full album on YouTube.
YouTube. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'll listen tomorrow so we can talk more about this in 2 weeks.
3 weeks.
Are there any
I
Easter eggs?
I can't imagine that we're going to do it on New Year's Eve either, unless you want to do like, because I mean, is anyone going?
Oh, is that New Year's Eve? I didn't realize.
2 weeks from now would be New Year's Eve. Yeah,
Oh, 3 weeks.
3 weeks from now we'll be back.
Oh, yeah. I just looked. It's the 31st. Oops.
So, meantime,
This one made me really sad when you sent it the other day.
I know.
It's from the Tinder blog, which has solid content.
Always, yeah.
One day you logged out of AIM and you never logged in again.
I know. I feel like it's a play on all of those ones that are like one day, he holds your hand, and then one day, like about little boys growing up, like
Yeah.
don't know when it happens that it's the last time he's gonna like ask you to pick him up or hold his hand or something
Yeah.
like that.
What do you
Um,
think our last away messages were?
my last message. Oh my God, I can't even think of like what year would have been the last year that we logged into AIM.
It had to have been 2000 something. Like 2010s, less than 10.
Less
I
than
would
10.
say
I got
that.
married in 2010 and definitely was not going on AIM at that point
Yeah,
in
so
time.
I'm thinking, okay, so let's see, like our prime time in college was up into 2005, 2007. So let's just say 2008 was like our absolute end,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Do you think it was song lyrics or something emotional?
probably song lyrics. I
Hmm,
don't know, but I even feel like by the end of AIM, like I wasn't even just leaving it up anymore. I was just like logging out.
yeah.
Like it
Hmm.
wasn't like in college when your AIM was up all the time on your computer.
Oh, those were the days.
I know, right? I know.
I'm gonna go with song lyrics, and it was probably Mr. Brightside.
Yeah, but that was so much earlier than 2008, wasn't it? I don't know. I have no idea.
No clue. What was yours?
Okay, so Simon Holland, shout out, love everything he posts. He says, I didn't realize I was supposed to know how to do everything by my second rodeo. That's still a very low number of rodeos. I like this one.
Yeah, I saw
How I
this.
feel all the time.
Yeah, he's got some good stuff.
Yeah, he's funny. I like him. He's like an honorary mom.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for the last mom chat of
Of
2000.
2020.
Who knew? Um,
I know.
be sure to check us out and join us again in 2021. And hopefully things are different. But thanks for joining in, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our emails so you get our posts in your inbox as soon as possible. See ya. Bye.